Hey there, this is Leslie Liljenberg, and I just coming to you today. We've been noticing quite a bit of just variations on how people are handling Zoom meetings. And we all know that Zoom meetings, team meetings, Skype, whatever you're using, it's a way of the future. It's going to be staying with us for a really long time. And it's good because, that's really one of the good things that came out of COVID is making our lives a lot easier as far as being able to attend meetings. But, you know, on virtual meetings, we're constantly seeing, just different behaviors from a day-to-day basis that really it's not appropriate. So I want to come to you today and address a few things, and we're going to go with the top 10 etiquette best etiquette on virtual meetings. I'm going to read from my notes a little bit just to keep me on path. But number one is be on time. There's a lot of times I'm on a meeting where somebody said, "Oh, we're not going to start until 10 minutes." But it's just like in real life. Being early is best, but on time is a must. So just because it's a virtual meeting doesn't mean that you've got a 10-minute delay there or a reprieve before you get to the meeting. So just like in real life, if you're going to a board meeting in person, you're not 10 minutes late. You never would do that. So be on time. I'm including number 2 and 3 in this together because I feel like they go hand in hand. Dress appropriately and have your camera on. Just because you're not in person doesn't mean you can be a slouch. I mean, there's times where you're in a meeting with a lot of people that it's amongst friends, and maybe you've got you're heading to work out. It's at the end of the day, or maybe it's early morning, who knows? And you are heading out to go to work out or go to yoga. That's okay. But if you're in a professional situation and you are trying to, I don't know, pitch a sale or a program or a platform, you need to be dressed appropriately and have the respect for your participants and also, oops, excuse me, and also, um, the people that are involved. I mean, especially whoever you're trying to pitch your sale to or an idea to, you need to be appropriate. And if not, if you don't have your pants on, sorry, don't stand up because the rest of the world does not want to see you commando. And so make sure that if you do stand up, that your camera is off, but join in on the meeting. Turn your camera on. Don't just have it, video off and be doing whatever you want in the background. That's not being a participant in the meeting. And number 4, don't make calls while you're in the meeting or take a call. There's so many times where I'll be on Zoom meetings, Zoom, Team, Skype, and somebody will be right there on the video and will silence themselves. That's great. You got yourself on mute. That's always good. But I'm watching you take a phone call when I'm sitting there taking my time for the meeting and everybody else is participating. So don't take a call. It's extremely rude. And it's just like if you took a call in any meeting, you don't do it. It's not appropriate. Number 5, position your camera to make eye contact with the group. This is not always easy. And I even find myself, because my camera is way up high on the top of my computer and I'm trying to make eye contact, but it's not always so easy. But that's a little bit different than my screen being over here and I'm doing my screen, watching it over here, but my audience is here. So make sure that your camera is it is best of a situation to be filming you and to have you on the screen. That's just a really nice thing. So position your camera as well as you can to have eye contact with the group. Background. Be aware of your background. And mine's not even that pretty right here. I've got a background, but you can see a lamp in the back. So, you can use a filter. And those filters are not always the greatest. They're a little wonky and they make you kind of fade in and fade out and fade in and fade out. So if you can, this maybe will take a little bit of money. It's these backdrops are not very expensive. You can use them for a lot of different reasons, different purposes. So, again, the filters are not always great. but it's best to block out any garbled or messy background that you can. Um, Again, if the meeting is a little casual, it's okay to have a little bit of your stuff around. And I'm always very impressed with people that have got their really clean, neat, tidy bookshelves behind them. I'm not that good at that. But it's awfully nice. So if it's really, really garbled, or you've got some private information back behind you about a customer or people or things, then you really want to make sure that that's blocked out. Number 7, this is one of my very biggest pet peeves. Be still. I mean, obviously, when you're talking, you're doing a presentation, move your hands, do whatever. But you know, you might be in your comfy recliner or your wonderful swivel desk chair. But you don't need to look like a little kid with ADHD, and it's rude. And though you may not realize it, it's extremely distracting. And the other thing is too, is for some of us that get motion sick pretty easily, it can make us dizzy. And you may think that that's silly, but it's truly not. And if you're rocking back and forth and back and forth, and you're doing this, and there's a meeting going on, stop. It's just rude. And it also makes you look very unprofessional. It's unfair to all the participants, especially the person that's worked hard to prepare their presentation, and you're the biggest distraction that's on the screen. So be aware of that, and stop doing it. I'm just going to say stop doing it. So no eating allowed. That's number 8. Don't eat your meal during a meeting. I mean, normally would you walk into a conference room or a board room and bring your lunch in? First of all, just for the odor, it might bother somebody, but obviously that's not a situation on a Zoom call. But at the same time, you don't need to be eating your meal, only unless the one exception is it's a brown bag event. You know, you're coming together over lunch and everybody's bringing their brown bag, and that's what kind of meeting it is. Otherwise, don't bring your lunch or your meal into the meeting itself. Cup of coffee, sure. You know, I've always got my tea or my cup of coffee. That's okay. Yummy. But try to keep it to a minimum on that food situation, and don't bring it. Number 9, family members and FIDO. Tell all of your members of your family that you're in a meeting. Teach them the manners about a person being in those meetings, because not all children understand it. Not all adults understand it. Ask them not to interrupt. Emergencies do happen, but if you were in a conference in your downtown office, little Billy would not be running in to your meeting in the conference room asking for lunch money. It just wouldn't happen. So plan ahead. Know that little Billy needs his lunch money before you get on the call. It's called planning, and it hasn't changed just because COVID came along and just because we've got all these wonderful virtual opportunities. It hasn't changed. So make a plan. Plan your day, plan your schedule, and do it just as if you were, not at home and not on your computer. And so number 10, remember when. And I would like to say that because take a minute and go back in time when all of our meetings were in person. What did you do? How did you handle those meetings? We were professional. We were dressed. We came into the meeting early, and if not early, definitely on time. We didn't talk during the meetings. We didn't pick up phone calls during the meetings. We didn't have family members and children running into the meeting, and we didn't have the dog barking in the background. And I get it. It does happen. But just remember that presenters, attendees, the company that pays you, that you're working for, or if yourself, if you're on straight commission, there's an institution of professionalism that goes with all of this, and it still does exist, no matter how much everyone tries to fight it, tries to not accept it. It's still there. And go back in time. Remember when, and bring those types of level of professionalism back into your workplace, whether you're working from home or you're at your office, or you're working at it from a Starbucks, be cognizant of what you're doing, and be sensitive to other people. And it's not just about you, it's about everybody else. And there's many, many times that people have worked very, very hard to get those meetings put together. So have respect. That's my top 10 for the etiquette of virtual meetings. And we'll see you next time. Lezlee Liljenberg, and thanks for stopping by.